In Lesson 2, we will describe why impact investors include catalytic capital in their portfolios. So now you know what catalytic capital is. The next question is, why should you care? Why is catalytic capital important? And why are private investors increasingly making catalytic capital investments? There are many investors in tonic and in the broader impact investing space who assert that you can get both commercial returns and positive impact without any financial trade-off. So why should you take less in financial returns? First, let's explore if we agree that you can get both commercial returns and positive impact under all circumstances. The answer is yes, we do agree that in many situations you can get both commercial returns and positive impact. The track record of many impact funds has demonstrated that commercial rate impact investing can deliver risk-adjusted returns. So we do agree there are many cases where it is true that there is no necessary trade-off between financial returns and impact. The examples that you see in the upper right quadrant of this chart are in categories where this is often the case, such as clean energy generation projects or technology platforms or capital-light industries, such as many of those favored by Silicon Valley investors. But there are also those investments that you see in the lower right quadrant that serve the ultra poor, work in challenging and unproven markets, and bring economic development. This type of investments can generally only be targeted by catalytic capital. Catalytic investors recognize that they could restrict their portfolios only to impact investments without trade-offs, like those in the upper right quadrant. But they intentionally choose to include catalytic capital investments to achieve impact that commercial investments cannot achieve, and as a consequence, intentionally accept a financial trade-off. Catalytic investors focus on neglectedness, high impact opportunities neglected by commercial investors. It is very important to mention this is not an all or nothing approach. Many catalytic investors decide to dedicate a portion of a portfolio to catalytic capital investments and pursue market rate impact investments in the remainder of their investment portfolio. So why do they choose to deploy catalytic capital? To answer this, we draw on a research project that we have recently concluded, which we will describe in more detail in the next lessons. From that research, it emerged that the following motivations of private asset owners drive them towards catalytic capital investing. Perhaps one of the most powerful quotes is in the title, "If not us, then who? And if not now, then when?" Here are some additional reasons. My catalytic capital is making the biggest difference of all my capital because it is catalyzing other investors to invest or allowing a company to exist that may not exist without my capital. Here we can see the importance of the investor contribution concept. To lead other family offices by example, we are balancing the individual impact of our portfolio with the influence that we can have on others. Here we can see the element of inspiring other investors. One of the main catalytic capital impacts is to unlock more capital that otherwise wouldn't come in. To safeguard mission, to serve the needs of marginalized, vulnerable, poor, or excluded people and places that are not being addressed by conventional capital. Here you can see a focus on beneficiaries that are not served otherwise. To include groups systematically locked out to access to capital because I cannot live comfortably in a world of abundance without being aware that many or most live in scarcity. Social justice is one of the motivating factors. To create the highest leverage and impact using patient capital to de-risk new ideas and concepts. I'm focused on the role that catalytic capital can play in building a purposeful life while still getting financial returns. These investors are enabling change that will not otherwise happen. They may be investing in companies that address the needs of people at the bottom of the economic pyramid, alleviate poverty, create meaningful jobs, or protecting the most vulnerable ecosystems, or in fully scalable opportunities that are still at the very high risk stage that is not attracting commercial capital yet, such as investing in unproven technologies, business models, or people. By investing in these opportunities, catalytic investors can help prove out new and innovative products and business models, demonstrate that hard-to-reach geographies and populations most in need are investable, and scale nascent opportunities to a level where the economics are appropriate for conventional investments. In many cases, catalytic capital can spark the entry of conventional capital, either simultaneously in the same investment round or subsequently through follow-on capital, and has the potential to help drive more capital towards the sustainable development goals. You also see more personal motivations for this approach. Both inheritors and first-generation wealthy often recognize that their wealth includes some elements of luck of the draw. Especially if they are the first generation with wealth, they likely admit that some of their good fortune is attributable to their skill and determination, but they also recognize that that alone is not enough. Many people with similar skill and determination are born in the wrong country or the wrong time. They may lack access to quality education and networks or face any number of obstacles to seize the opportunity. Out of this recognition comes a resolve to give back to the world, to center the next chapter of their lives on service to the world and contributing to the solutions to big world's problem. Doing so is richly rewarding, not in money, but in something much more central to personal happiness, a sense of purpose, of a life well filled with meaning and orientation of being of service to others and the planet and future generations. Those who travel this path consistently report back that their approach is far more fulfilling in an enduring way than making a killing on a deal in the market. Following this path opens up a degree of impact for these investors that is not available to those who limit themselves to market rate opportunities. They have the ability to achieve impact not available with commercial capital. They can innovate and improve approaches by experimenting with unproven deal terms or structures to solve for specific needs. They fill gaps left by conventional financial markets and philanthropy, focusing on opportunities traditional markets are ignoring. They pave the way for subsequent commercial investors, enabling impact investors to move their capital to the new frontier. They may accept longer-term horizons for financial returns by betting on enterprises, business models, sectors, and geographies that could eventually be financially sustainable but not investment ready for commercial capital yet, facilitating transition from philanthropic support to sustainable earned revenues. To achieve impact leverage, in which one's capital not only contributes to direct positive impact, but also to the broader changes in a sector or in a geography at a system level, to improve its long-term viability without the need for continued catalytic capital or philanthropic capital. In short, using your capital as a catalyst or accelerator to achieve impact at scale is at really the core of the term catalytic capital.